This is question number 79 from book number 1 based on the 2020 NEC, and this is electricaltime.com. Elevator cable type E is a flexible cable that has a voltage rating of blank or blank volts, and the insulation is made of blank. So we got a couple of possible answers here. We got A, 600 or 1000 volts thermoplastic, B, 600 or 1000 volts thermoset, C, 300 or 600 volts thermoplastic, or D, 300 or 600 volts thermoset. Just want to take 30 seconds to let you know what we do here at electricaltime.com. We do online electrical classes from the comfort of your home, and then we also have this free service. So if you click on the subscribe for free NEC questions, Monday through Friday, you'll get an NEC code question and an answer sent to your email. All right, so back to our video. And the answer to this question is going to be D, and that's going to be 300 or 600 volts thermoset. All right, so looking at this question, what article are we talking about here? I see elevator cable, I see type E, and I see, a flexible cable. So I'm thinking that this is going to be article 400, which is called flexible cords and flexible cables. And let's see if that is correct. And that is correct. So that's going to be article 400 for flexible cords and flexible cables. And that's within chapter 4, equipment for general use. And when we go to an article, we look at the parts, and then we find part 1, that's called general. And then we find this really important table. And if you've got your code book handy and you can put the video on pause, I suggest pause the video and take a look at table 400.4, and that's called flexible cords and flexible cables. And then we're going to see type E, and that's called elevator cable. All right, so let's go take a look at that table together in our code book. And here's the table. But before I show you the table, I just want to talk about something called the NFPA link. And I'm going to write that down over here. And that's going to NFPA link. And that's having the code book on your phone. I highly recommend it. And you can find this directly from the NFPA's website. And that's going to be nfpa.org. All right, so let's take a look at this table together. And I'm going to zoom in over here so you can see this a little bit better. And again, this is table 400.4. It's called flexible cords and flexible cables. So we see in our first column, we see the trade name over here. And then we see elevator cable. Then in the next column, we see the letter type. And here we see E. And then we see 1, 2, 3, 4. So what does that mean, 1, 2, 3, 4? Well, at the bottom of this table, there are notes to the table. And when there's notes to a table, they are enforceable. All right, so let's continue. Next, we see the column for the voltage, and it tells us that this can either be 300 or 600 volts. And if we go over a little bit more, we take a look at the insulation type, and it tells us that it is thermoset. All right, so the insulation is going to be thermoset on this type E elevator cable. And you can see there's a lot of other information in here. So do take the time to look at article 400 at table 400.4 for flexible cords and flexible cables. All right, so let's get back to our question here. So when you look at type E cable in the table 400.4, flexible cords and flexible cables, you will see that the insulation type is thermoset. It also has the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 next to the letter E in the type letter column, and they relate to the table notes at the end of this table. If you look at table note number 4, it talks about the elevator cables and sizes 28 AGW through 14 AGW, rated 300 volts, and in sizes of 10 AWG through 2 AWG. They are rated at 600 volts. So we got 300 volts and we got 600 volts, and it all depends on the size of the conductor. Now, here's something special. If it's 12 AWG, it can either be rated for 300 or 600 volts, depending on the thickness of the insulation. So there is important information to these table notes. Again, table notes are enforceable, and informational notes to a table are not. So make sure you don't get those two things confused. Again, I'll repeat that. Table notes are enforceable, and informational notes to a table are not. All right, so the answer, again, to this one is going to be D, and that's going to be 300 or 600 volts thermoset. And we found the answer in table 400.4, type E, elevator cable.